When you stop chasing her, silence isn't silence, it's chaos in her head. You think walking away is the end. No, that's the exact moment her obsession begins. Welcome back to Brainify on. Today, we're breaking down exactly what happens in a woman's mind when you don't chase her. And trust me, her thoughts aren't what you think. If you're Redito, understand the truth most men never figure out. Stick around till the end. And before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on so you never miss the real psychology behind love, power, and attraction. 1. She questions her power. When you stop chasing a woman, the very first thought that hits her isn't about you, it's about her. And this is where their all storm begins. See, she's used to being in control, to knowing exactly how her beauty, her presence, her little hints, affect men. She has played the game so many times before. A smile here, a delayed reply there, a casual with all of it carefully designated keep men chasing. For her, the chassis proof that she still has it, proof that she's irresistible. But when you didn't follow the script, when you didn't rush in after her, when you didn't feed her with constant validation, she starts to doubt something she never thought should wield her own power. That silence you give her, it doesn't feel like peace. To her, it feels like rejection, disguise it as calm. It shakes her confidence unknowed in some shallow way. It digs into her identity. Because for a woman who has built her sense of worth on it, silence is louder than any insult. She starts asking herself questions she can't answer. Did she say something wrong? Did she play too hard to get? Or maybe she came across too easy. She replays the last moments with you over and over, like a movie. She can't stop watching. The thing is, she doesn't let anyone see this struggle. On the outside, she still smiled, still looked confident, maybe even colder than before. But inside she's fighting with herself, and this is where young knowingly flip the power. Because while she's questioning her edge, her charme, her hold, you're not doing anything, you're calm, composed, busy living, and that stillness from you creates earthquakes inside her. She starts wondering if she misjudged her own abilities, if the tools she used to keep men hooked aren't as sharp anymore, and that thought is terrifying for her. You see, for years she's been the flamed man with the moths. That was her reality. But now, for the first time, she feels the shift. You didn't come running, you didn't fold under her obstines, and that shakes her because losing the chase doesn't just feel like losing attention, it feels like losing herself too. She starts watching you closely. Here's where it gets interesting. Just because she doesn't show she's bothered doesn't mean she isn't. In fact, the less she shows, the more she's observing. The moment you stop chasing, you move from being predictable to being a mystery, and mystery is magnetic. She starts noticing of every pause in your replies, every story you don't like, every time you're online but not talking to her. She starts piecing together a puzzle she never expected to solve, because Noche's no longer in control of their rhythm. You are. And women like her don't just walk away when they lose control. They investigate. To her, your silence is not absence, it's data. It's a signal. Every little detail becomes something she studies. Who you hang out with, who comments on your posts, where you put your energy when it's not on. She becomes the quiet observer. But don't mistake that for indifference. It's deeper than that. She's trying to decode you. And here's the truth. A man who can't be read is far more attractive than a man who's always available. When you don't chase, you turn into a puzzle, and puzzles demand to be solved. Shellens in without moving an inch. She pays attention to things most men think women don't even notice. And in her world, your calm composure is more confusing than any argument or excuse could ever be. She doesn't need to eschew anything directly. She reads between lines. She interprets your silence like their words. And the more you become, the more space you take up in her mind. You're not one of many anymore. You've become the one she can't figure out, and nothing gets under her skin more than that. 3. She assumes you have options. Now, here's where her imagination starts to hurt her. Women rarely believe a man pulls away for peace. They don't think, oh, he's probably just working on himself, focusing on his life. No, they think, he must have someone else. Your silence feels like a spotlight shining somewhere else. She assumes there's Sanathor woman. Maybe smarter, maybe prettier, maybe more mysterious, and once that thought enters her mind, it spreads. Like poison, she starts comparing herself to women who may not even exist. She begins competing with shadows. She replayed the moment you stopped chasing, How quickly did you stop texting? How confidently did you walk away? She reads your calmness not as discipline, but as distraction. Because in her world, detachment doesn't mean self-control. It means someone else has your attention. And that's when her pride begins to ache. Because nothing bruises a woman more than the idea often of the woman replacing her. She may start posting more, dressing sharper, acting louder, not to move on, but to send a message to show she still wanted to compete with the ghost she thinks you are with. Here's the hidden twist. Her insecurity doesn't push her away from you. It pulls her closer, because suddenly your attention becomes scarce, and scarcity in her mind equals value. The less you give, the more she assumes you have options, and that thought drives her mad. 4. She tests you subtly. She's not going to come out, Anzi, I miss you. That's not her way. Instead, she'll test you. And those tests are quiet, carefully crafted. A vague post, a delayed reply, a random cold shoulder, even a selfie that wasn't just for her friends. It was meant for you. Every move is designed to see if you'll crack. Will he notice? Will Hetch us again? She's not trying to reconnect emotionally. She's trying to measure her control. And here's where most men fall into the trap. They break. They replied to fast. They chase again. And just like that, she wins back the upper hand. But if you don't flinch, if you don't break, her test backfires. She realizes her influence is slipping. The old moves that used to pull men in don't work on you. And that terrifies her because now she's not testing you, she's testing herself. She may get bolder. Post something more direct, flirt with Simeon publicly, pretend she's moved on, but underneath it all, it's not confidence, it's desperation. She's searching for any crack in your armor. And when nothing works, when every attempt falls flat, she feels something she hates more than rejection, irrelevance, because once a woman realizes her energy doesn't sway you want her more, she doesn't just lose control. She loses the mirror that told her who she was. 5. She fears losing control. Control isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a look, a pause, a silence. A thought makes a man chase harder. Women like her know how to use those subtle tools. They've been practicing them for years. But when you don't react, when you don't chase, when you don't fold, her grip slips, and that slip feels like drowning. She's used to anchoring her spin influence, knowing she can sway emotions, knowing her presence can disturb a man's peace. That's her comfort zone. But when you remain calm, detached, unshaken, she feels helpless. And helplessness is something she never prepared for. Her fear isn't about you, it's about losing her control, because if she can't move you, if she can't stir you, then she's not in charge of the story anymore. You are. And in her world, that's terrifying. She starts staring longer in the mirror, wondering if she still has what she once saw. She replays moments, trying to understand how the script flipped, and the very time she realizes your silence isn't a performance, it's real. Her fear grows because she knows once a man becomes immune to her control, he's no longer under her orbit. That to her feels like the end of power itself. 6. She rethinks her own value. This is the deepest cut. When you stop chasing, she doesn't just rethink you, she rethinks herself. Not in a surface level way, in a soul-shaking way. Because women don't measure their value in isolation, they measure it through first collection, through how others, especially men, respond to them. And when your response is silence, when you don't fold, when you don't chase, she feels that mirror break. For the first time, she has to sit with the background applause of attention, and that silence makes her wonder, was I ever truly enough? Or was it just the chase that made me feel valuable? She may act fine. She may even shine brighter on the outside, but inside, she's spiraling. Every compliment she ever received feels conditional. Every past chase feels meaningless. And now, with your calm indifference, she faces herself and doesn't like what she sees. This isn't about you rejecting her. It's about her realizing that her power was never unconditional. It was built on others responding. And when one man chooses peace over pursuit, she feels her entire sense of value tremble. And here's the truth. Your silence doesn't just shake her ego, it shakes her identity. Because she built her world on being desired, and now she's forced to see herself without that lens. And that's the one reflection she can't bear. So here's the truth, brother. When you stop chasing, you don't just walk away from her. You hold up a mirror she never wanted to look into. You force her to see herself without the comfort of constant validation. And that reflection shakes her more than any argument, more than any rejection, more than any goodbye. Your silence, it isn't empty, it's power. It tells her what words can't. It shows her you're not begging for her attention. You're not controlled by her games. You're not controlled by yourself. And that self-control is the rarest, most magnetic quality a man can have. So, let her wonder, let her question, let her sit with her own thoughts while you keep living, keep building, keep choosing peace over performance. Because when Amen no longer chases, he doesn't lose value, he multiplies it. If this message hit you hard today, don't just watch and make it real. Smash that like button, subscribe to Brainify on and turn on the bell, so you never miss the psychology that other men don't know. Share this video with a brother who keeps chasing when he should be still, and tell me in the comments below, have you seen her behavior change the moment you stop chasing? I read every single one. Remember, in silence, you rise.